Hi guys, it's Dave. I'm here talking today for the DreamPod 9 videos channel about damage in the new Heavy Gear Blitz beta rules. These are the rules that are being released this July 2014, and these rules are going to restart how Heavy Gear is played. So today, this video is to talk a bit about how you track damage on your models. Now this is one of those things where we know that people like to have a bunch of different ways they do it. And I'm going to demonstrate a few ways which we've used, and they're all equally good. The most important thing about these techniques and methods is that you use them consistently. Consistency means you have to do it every time the same way. You can't mix it up, like count up on the dice one time and down on the other one. So this large model in front of us is called a Drake. This guy is a giant large strider for the Southern faction. He's one of those guys that your opponent really kind of has to plan around what he's going to be doing during a game. So when this guy is being attacked, he's going to get damaged. And he has a specific attribute called the damage capacity. Damage capacity is the measurement of how much damage a model can sustain before it starts losing its ability to fight effectively and then eventually being destroyed. So in this case, the Drake has a damage capacity of 6-3. And we use two numbers because the first number, I'll use the 6 and the white dice for this, is called the hull. And the hull is the outer armor of the gear. It also represents components which are redundant, which allow your gear to continue functioning even if one part has been blasted off. Once your model has sustained 6 points of damage, in this case, we would count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Once it sustains 6 points of damage, you'd remove this dice, and then you'd be left with only the red dice. Or in this case, you'd add the red dice. You would then take, at this point, because the model is critically damaged, it's lost all of its hull, it would now suffer a minus 1d6 modifier to all tests that it would have to make, whether they're attack tests, defense tests, dangerous terrain tests, anything it has to do which gives it dice which it has to roll, it would roll one less dice. And the only example where this wouldn't happen is in this case with the Drake, it has the rugged weapons trait. The rugged weapons trait means you ignore that penalty when making your attacks. So this model is pretty relentless. Until it is completely destroyed, it will continue to attack at its full capacity. Very dangerous for anyone who's trying to compete against this, trying to take it out before it can do its own damage in return. So then, this model takes damage, goes down, once it's down to 1, takes 1 more damage, it will be destroyed. There is a thing called Overkill, where if a model takes damage equal to its damage capacity in one attack, it is completely obliterated and removed from the table. So instead of, if this model is destroyed, we might turn it on its side, or I might put a few spare parts down to show wreckage, which would then be able to give cover. If this model is overkilled, I would simply remove it altogether. There isn't enough parts left to be used as an example. So here is damage capacity. And you can do this two ways. You can start with the dice on the table and then count down, or you can start with the dice off the table, and as it takes damage, you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage, done, and then put in the dice and go the other way. Another method is using bingo chips. You can use poker chips if that's your favorite, if you have a good example. Here I've got 4 different bingo chips. These ones are the standard ones that were sold in the Heavy Gear Blitz dice pack. And the colors of blue, yellow, orange, and red can, before, in the previous edition of the game, would represent the different levels of damage your model could sustain. In this edition, we're going to use them as numerical values. So I'm going to assign a 1 to the green, a 2 to the yellow, 3 to the orange, and 4 to the red. So in this case, when the Drake takes 1 damage, I'm going to put a green on there. When it takes 1 more, I'll take the 1 off and place the 2. And then the 3, and then the 4, and if it takes more damage than 4, I'm going to put another token, and that counts as a 5. So this is a very simple method of keeping a running damage total on your models, and these can be placed on the base or next to the model. Just try to be clear about which model it is. if you have, I prefer to use the bingo tokens method, because this way there's no chance of you accidentally picking up the dice and rolling them. In this case, though, there's no way to tell the difference between critical damage, such as when you're down to your structure, and hull damage. So in this case, I have a second token which I like to put down, which is a critical token. And in this case, I have to thank Litco Aero Systems for making a nice little token that I can use. So in this case, I know that it's lost all of its hull, it has 1 damage, and it is critical. So I know it has 2 damage remaining because it has 3 hull points in total. Okay, thank you very much. Talk again in a bit. Leave any questions you have underneath, and I'll answer them in video form or in the comments. Thank you.